And back here again on the Backstage Pass. Kind of rare we do two shows in a day from what we used to do, but of course, I always love doing it when I get contacted by two of my favorite artists here on the Backstage Pass. It is a Monday. Hope everybody had a great Mother's Day out there, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms. And I know my mother-in-law, she got chocolate covered strawberries today, so she was still celebrating even after Mother's Day because it took a while to get that package delivered to her door. Brandon Morrell back here on the show, presented by Bangtail Whiskey. Our friends over there, check them out, easyliquor.com. And of course, MitchMacs.com, the official merchandise provider of the show, and our good friends at Hank Jr. Productions. Thanks to Christina Taylor for coming on, sharing her latest single out there too. If you guys want to check that out, feel free to do that across all the social platforms and music platforms. And like I said, when I get two of my favorites on, it's the Taylor two-step here on a Monday, much less the Texas two-step. But this is my good friend Alexis Taylor back here on the Backstage Pass, of course. Just pride and true, born a singer and a songwriter, and you can definitely feel it in the music. The latest single, of course, Long Way From Home, across all the platforms out there for you guys to enjoy. Welcome back. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
It's been good. Watching this little kid grow up, being a dad. It's a different feel now, being a parent.
I know. Congratulations. I know you sent me a picture on her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
She's getting so big.
It's hard to believe. It's the terrible twos. The only thing I don't like about it, of course, I guess we were all there at one point in our life, is the throw yourself on the floor and the tantrums. But I'm getting used to it. It's like setting a fire and just waiting to extinguish it. I just let it happen, and then when it starts to filter out, poof, just let it go. So it's part of the terrible twos I'm experiencing now. But no, she is a really good kid, and honestly, she's everything's checked out so far. She got her checkup a few weeks ago and did some everything else. So it's a cool thing to see her healthy and just growing up. She loves your music. She's always wanted to put stuff on and very much into music. So I don't know what I have now. I'm hoping she becomes an artist and a musician, but you just never know. Let's talk about this one out of the gate, because this is a very beautiful song you've put out, and a very credit to your body of work, because you've done a lot of great songs. I think last time we talked was Cool With That came out, and I want to say, it was the last time. Of course, Blame the Whiskey. We've talked since 2019. Been friends since then. Long Way From Home. Catch me up on it, because really cool things have happened, and I know for you guys, probably really cool to get this out to the fans, and definitely through social media and all platforms, right?
Yeah, it was. It was a song that really was an honest, from the heart song, and I think that's probably why it's one of my favorites. It's just something that I had kind of been struggling with, I guess, in a sense, because, I left my hometown and didn't really know anyone in Nashville. And it's kind of just about, more or less, my journey as a musician and just trying to make it. So, there's always that struggle of like, okay, well, I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. Maybe I should just go home. But it's like, well, you sure are a long way from home. So, just kind of a song that really was close to my heart. And yeah.
Well, it is a beautiful song too. And like I said, you mentioned the Long Way From Home, of course. And I got to tell you, I got a chance to see the Toronto Blue Jays play a couple of weeks ago, from the Ontario native right there too, in Houston, to play a little baseball game here. Toronto is better than us right now, so they're having a great start to their season so far. So I had to throw that out there, because I did get to see the Jays play in Houston when they came through. But just talk about that a little bit, kind of expound on it, being from Ontario and then making that move down to Nashville. You've always had that great writing ability and just storytelling ability through your music, and that's what I love so much about you when you sing it and you put it out there to fans. And I know time certainly flies, but I'm sure that's something you look back on and you say to yourself, I'm so glad I made the move, right?
Yeah, it's funny because I couldn't imagine my life not doing music. Now that I've been doing music for such a long time, I just look at my life and I'm like, well, what would I be doing right now if I hadn't have decided to move to Nashville, decided to continue to pursue music? I feel like I wouldn't know who I would be in a sense.
Well, I love that too. And I know you've done a lot of cool things. You told me there was a big international career you've had too at the same time, and you've done some tours and things like that too, definitely before all the stuff happened with the pandemic. Take me through that, because pretty cool that, the Nashville following is one thing, and people know Nashville's a 10-year town, and there's so much talent there trying to get out and get exposed to people and get people kind of on their radar. What's it been like for you, even before the pandemic, to have that international following too at the same time?
It was It's really actually changed
Hmm.
during the pandemic because I wasn't really doing any shows online. I would, I'd go to Canada and I'd play a few shows. Or back in 2016, I
Hmm.
went on tour with Doug Seegers, and
Hmm.
we got to go to Sweden and Norway, and that was an incredible tour and an incredible experience. However, I wasn't able to go there as often as I would like, and I wasn't able to travel as often as I would like, especially to Europe. I mean, it's
Hmm.
a
Yep.
gorgeous place, but um, with COVID, I think it really opened up a lot of doors for my
Hmm.
music because people that wouldn't necessarily be able to come to a show could listen to me. So,
Hmm.
um, in a way, it actually opened a lot of doors and gave me a lot more opportunities, as opposed to beforehand. But even so, beforehand, I always enjoy traveling. So it's always fun to go to new cities and new towns and new countries and meet new people.
Certainly is. That's why I love traveling. It's my first time actually going to go to Alabama here in a couple of weeks for a show put together, and yeah, just definitely looking forward to meeting people. I've never been to that close to Montgomery, and driven through the bottom part of that state for a long time. I just can't wait to see the people have fun. At a music festival, I had a hand in putting together a show down there in Glenwood, Alabama. We're going to be there May 21st. So just meeting people and having a good time, enjoying it at a big festival there coming up May 21st. And that's the beautiful part, like you said, eating good food and trying out what the locals try and all that good stuff too. I want to go back to what you had done last year. I don't know if we talked about this. We probably touched on a few songs, but "Ain't No Quitting You." I love the title of that song because you put that as the title track of the EP. You guys put out a 5-song EP last year. Walk me through that project. How much fun that was to put that music out to fans. The song choices, the writing, everything behind it.
Yeah, I think the last song actually that made the album was "Ain't No Quitting You," if
Hmm.
I remember correctly. But I actually wrote that on the tail end of COVID
Hmm.
because I was getting antsy. I was stuck in Canada. I was like, okay, I really want to release some new music. I
Hmm.
want to really do something that I've never done before. Why don't I put out an EP? So I ended up putting out the EP, and every song I feel like really represents who I am as a writer. But yeah, Ain't No Quitting You was kind of a spur of the moment, like, okay, I need an upbeat, like kind of sassy song, and I need something to kind of tie the album all together. And the other songs on the album didn't really feel as though they were really title track material,
Hmm.
especially because I released Getaway
Hmm.
during the pandemic. Um, and that was kind of like, okay, I need to get away from, life. I need to get away from the pandemic, all the stuff that was going on. But I didn't want to focus on that. I wanted to kind of have a bigger picture and
Hmm.
have my audience have a bigger picture of who I am. So I ended up writing that song. And the other songs were some of my favorites that I've written over the years. But either way, it was a super fun project and gave me something to look forward to when I was stuck in Canada.
Well, definitely, it's I love the album too, and definitely the title track really fit the record. What led it off was I loved it was definitely a lot of cool things, and I want to say I read somewhere it did some really cool things for you on iTunes. It was "Say the Word" because "Say the Word" got some pretty good attention, climbed a little bit out there on those iTunes charts. Tell me about that one, kind of update me a little bit, and then did you have a hand in writing that song?
Yeah, so I actually wrote all of the songs that are on
Okay.
the EP. Say the Word, I also wrote kind of at the beginning of the pandemic. Um, and it was kind of one of those songs that I just out of nowhere started having this idea. I was kind of seeing a guy at the time,
Hmm.
and I knew it was over and he knew it was over, but it was like, okay, like, why aren't you telling me goodbye? Like, come
Hmm.
on, quit dragging it out. So I kind of came up with the idea, and I've always really liked having like a bluesy kind of
Hmm.
feel to a lot of songs that I sing, especially cover songs for sure. I really enjoy blues songs. So um, having Say the Word as kind of like the token bluesier song on the album, um, and kind of like even a slowed down um, kind of fun. Well, it's not really fun. I guess it's about heartbreak, but it was fun to kind of watch the instruments come together and all that. But yeah, it was written during the pandemic, and I feel like it was another favorite song of mine that came out of being stuck in Canada and in quarantine.
Yeah, so everybody kind of felt to it. You would do things that you were comfortable with and what you could kind of get your hands on. If it wasn't watching series on TV or binge watching, you're writing songs or just doing something that you may not ordinarily get a chance to do out there, keeping busy somewhere, doing something around the house. I know some people said they were gardening and doing all kind of hobbies outside and just trying to keep mentally sharp and keep it going from going insane for that particular point in time. Well, I'll tell you what, as point of the program, I turn it over to you. Again, Long Way From Home is the current single out there right now. I know there's more to come. We got a lot more to talk about coming up here over the next 15, 20 minutes or so here left in the show. We'll get a word in for Bangtail Whiskey and our good friends over at MitchMacs.com. Of course, I got some of these cool coffee mugs just came in, so definitely go check them out. Haven't used this one yet. Of course, I got to wash it and make it all fancy and pretty and stuff like that too. But it's just kind of a demo. But definitely, it's some cool stuff they put together for us too. And definitely check out AlexisTaylorMusic.com for all that cool merchandise out there too. As I always love to promote our websites for artists out there for music and for merch. Always important that we support them. And of course, if you guys go live, I'm always doing those tip jars and throwing what I can in there to help with that too. So definitely appreciate the work that you guys do out there. Well, I tell you what. Good place to start would be the single, but I always say I'm doing a couple of songs today. Hope you do a couple for us. What's up first?
Yeah, I'll do Long Way From Home.
All right, here we go.
Packed up my 6-string, followed the highway, a couple of blocks to my name. Wild child dreamer, wide-eyed believer, maybe I have what it takes. Didn't take long for the shine to wear off. The neon will break you, believe me, I know. I keep on rolling till there's nowhere to go. I keep on holding to the one thing I know. Too lost to be found. I can't turn back now. I know I'm a long way from home. A long way from home. It ain't what you think. There's so much you don't see. I'd walk away if I knew how. This 10-year town sure can bring you back down. But you've got your head in the clouds. If I could let go, pack my bags and move on, would anyone notice? Didn't care at all. Keep on rolling till there's nowhere to go. Keep on holding to the
Yeah, she's a superstar in the making, I'm gonna tell you, with songs like that too, no doubt. We talked about that album, Ain't No Quitting You, but man, that's a great project to begin 2022. It really, talks about it. And you and I've had some conversations behind the scenes that we've had as friends and things like that. And definitely, thank you for the advice you've given me on some of the levels professionally and just for being a good friend and for being in my corner, because that song I relate so much to, and that's why I had to have you back, because it's music like that that gets me through the tough times. And just want to commend you on just such great work, great writing, and way to begin the first release of the year as that is really an emotional song, but definitely tells you never to quit on the things you love in life. So definitely commend you for putting that out there, no doubt, for people to really just hit here and here when it comes to music, and that's the message is supposed to send, no doubt. We'll take a quick time out, come back and talk about Ain't No Quitting You. Of course, I got another little point to get to on that too, because you got a chance to work with some great people on that track and with the records and things like that. You mentioned you wrote everything on there, but a special name I want to get to. And then, of course, I know it did some cool things up in Canada for Sirius XM radio up there. We'll talk about that too a little bit more with Alexis Taylor here on the Backstage Passing. And you can check her out, AlexisTaylorMusic.com. We'll get a word in from Bangtail Whiskey and our good friends over at MitchMacs.com. Even take your comments, guys. We're live on the Backstage Pass YouTube channel. And, of course, at the sportsguyspodcast.com. Go there. There's always something fun. Go there. Hell, I go there daily. I'm always putting out sports content and music interviews out there, too. There's always something for everybody and chat rooms and all kind of cool stuff there. So be sure to go check it out. Time out for Bangtail and MitchMacs. More with Alexis here. Hang tight.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And we're here Monday through Friday, of course, every day between those hours, 3:30 and 6:30, live on the YouTube channel, the Backstage Pass, and, of course, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com, live on that website every day. So be sure and check us out on socials out there. And, of course, check out AlexisTaylorMusic.com. Our guest today, again, thanks to Christina Taylor joining us on the show earlier today, was the Taylor two-step today, not the Texas two-step here on the Backstage Pass, even though I'm based in Beaumont, Texas, down here doing the show every day. Hey, back to the album Ain't No Quitting You. I wanted to make a couple of points because the real cool thing is you wrote everything, but talk about working with a fantastic producer in John Willis. I wanted to ask you about that because multi-award winning musician, has done so much in the industry for so many people, great producer. What was that experience like?
So, funny fact, and also fun fact, he actually played guitar on my dad's album back in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
So kind of came full circle. But yeah, no, he's been awesome. He has become a friend for sure of mine and someone I look up to and someone who I can, throw ideas at, and he'll either be like, yeah, that's great, or you should probably not sing that again. So yeah, working with him has been great, and I look forward to working with him more in the future.
Yeah, because I had a couple of questions. I know Don was tuning in too, and we go to some of the comment boxes over here, and I'm with you too. I feel that way too. Don tunes in a lot of the shows. He discovers you through the social media platforms, and of course, programs like this being the Backstage Pass. He says, "Great EP, great song too. You just performed for us." What is next? What's coming up?
Well, I'm actually I'm in the studio and I'm working on releasing a few songs in the future. So I'm super excited for that. I have Rock Bottom will be coming out at some point in the next few weeks. So that is going to be my next single. Super excited about that. And then I'm going to be probably releasing one more song after that in the summer. And then that's about it. Maybe
Okay.
a Christmas song as well.
And of course, I know you've done some of the Christmas stuff before. We've talked about here on the program. Back to that "Ain't No Quitting You" EP. I want to say you had some really cool things with SiriusXM radio in Canada. Real cool things that climbed. I mean, as far as that, was it 15 on the chart up there too? At the same time, talk about that just in your home country to see your music just embody people and relate to people in so many ways.
Yeah, so Getaway was the one that climbed
Hmm.
to number 15, and I remember getting the email and I was like, "Wait a second, is that the right number?" Like, it was just a really cool feeling because, um, I I sing and I write and I do music, and
Hmm.
it's kind of like just a passion of mine, but then to be recognized for being someone who, you know, has been writing and singing and doing guitar and all that fun stuff. Like someone that, doesn't really know what I'm doing half the time, but to be recognized by my own kind of the Canadian CBC Sirius XM country station
Hmm.
was a really cool feeling. And yeah, and then Long Way From Home actually got up to 36 as well. So
Wow.
just really cool to have that hometown support, especially when it's something that I'm passionate about. Like seeing other people recognize that too is really cool.
Well, you should be proud of it. It's definitely embodiment of the work you've put out, and the great songs and the lyrics, and just your writing in general is fantastic too. And I tell you what I loved about it too. Speaking of the writing, was last Christmas y'all had a little fun with "It's Not Just Christmas Without You." If I got that title
Yeah.
correctly, that long title there, but it was such a great title that you guys put that out at Christmas time. I added it to the playlist when it came out. How much fun was that to again? Because you mentioned about Christmas music down the line, but you've done this before, and it's kind of not your first rodeo because you do love the holiday and you love putting out your own spin on Christmas music.
Yeah, well, I wrote that one probably, gosh, maybe back in college. And
Hmm.
I don't know. I really felt like it was the right time to put out some Christmas music. And it was, yeah, I wrote it by myself, but my mom sometimes will help me, pick out certain things that she likes or doesn't like or whatever. So she's kind of my person I go to for advice and whatever because she does music as well. And so yeah, I basically wrote it way back in college and then I kind of rewrote it. And so I
Hmm.
was like, okay, now's the time. But yeah, it's I think it's the only Christmas song I've completed, but yeah, definitely going to be putting out more holiday music for sure.
Folks, if you like that one, you'll like what's more to come too. It's just a tease right here. It's what we do here on the show, no doubt. And looking forward to putting it out there. And you'll always be invited back to promote music and to say what's coming to the audience again here on this platform here. Don, I tell you what, you're taking over the show today too. So yeah, I'm gonna send her one. I've got a Backstage Pass shirt for her, so I'm
Yay!
going to wear mine. We get a chance to swap and send those PO box or mail or whatever we end up doing. So that's a cool thing too. Yeah, Dean, I love your comment here too. So okay, well, tell you, you play it too. So like I said, if it's a podcast or a platform or whatever you have to, feel free to get in touch with me, leave me a comment. We can always get that over to you. And like I said, whatever your platform is, we can definitely, I'm sure Alexis and talking to her can get that arranged. No doubt about it. Hey, tell me about one that we had talked about. I believe it was the summer of 2020 when you guys come out there. You're always doing some of the best, like Getaway and some of the other coolest singles coming out during the summertime. Cool with that. I know we talked about that during the summer of 2020. I want to get kind of an update on that one too, because that was a fun song for you. Look at that. Look at that.
Right here.
What was kind of the latest with it? And I know for you guys, it had a good response from your fans too.
Yeah, that one was actually really fun because it was it actually might have been the first time I worked with John, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it was a super fun song to record. It was even more fun, I think, to do the music video, though. I really enjoyed getting to do the music video. So yeah, I like having the kind of feel good, summer songs you can kind of sing along to. Those are definitely some of my favorite to write, other than slow songs. I feel like it's probably a close tie.
Well, the summer tunes are really, really amazing too. I'm going to ask you about one coming back from the break too, of course, during the pandemic. One called "Desperado," which I very much enjoyed on my playlist and had a good time with that one too. At the same time here on the show, but we're going to turn it over to you for the second performance today here on the show. What you
Yeah.
got?
Probably, let's see. Should I do Desperado?
Ooh, look at that too. Let's do Desperado. Why
All
not?
right, sounds good.
That'll work.
Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? Been out running fences for so long now. You're a hard one, and I know you've got your reasons. There's things that are pleasing you hurt you somehow. Don't you try the queen of diamonds, boy. She'll beat you if she's able. The queen of hearts is always your best bet. It seems to me some bad things have been laid upon your table. You only want the ones you can't get. Desperado. Desperado. No, you ain't getting no younger. Your pain and your hunger driving you home. In freedom, yeah, that's just some people talking. Prison is walking through the world all alone. Don't your feet get cold in the wintertime? The sky won't snow and the sun won't shine. It's hard to tell the nighttime from the day. Losing all your highs and lows. Ain't it funny how the feeling goes away? Away. Desperado. Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? Down from your fences and open the gate. Maybe raining, oh, there's a rainbow above you. You gotta let somebody love you. Let somebody love you. Let somebody love you before it's too late. Desperado.
Yeah, I'm ready to go to a concert right now, or at least a writer's round, or enjoy some live music again, which get the chance to do coming up next week, as we'll be at a festival in Alabama, in Glenwood, Alabama, down there, just taking part, enjoying some festivities. But definitely when I get back to Nashville in the spring of 2023, CRS 2023, Alexis and I are going to have a little fun out there, do a little live show, and you're included in my guest list for that CRS 2023. It's always good to do the Taylor two-step when you get a chance, especially in person in Nashville, no doubt about it. Such a beautiful song, and you put a great spin on it too, and just a great song for country music too. Just tell me about getting behind that one and kind of putting your own rendition of it out there, and just in so many ways people can really feel that tune.
Yeah, that was yet another one that I
Mhm.
did during COVID. My mom actually played piano on that, so that was pretty cool. And it probably took me about, I think, 6 months to get permission to release it.
Mhm.
So it was timely,
Mhm.
but it was just a song that I thought was absolutely beautiful.
Mhm.
And I think what really got me into it was that people started requesting a lot of Eagles whenever me and my dad would go out and play. And so I learned Desperado. And of course, COVID, being
Mhm.
quarantined and all that stuff, I was like, hey, Mom, what would you think if we released Desperado? And like she could play piano and I would produce it and all that. So that's exactly what we did. It was really cool though, because I found out later that it was one of the songs my mom used to sing back like in the 90s when she was performing with my dad. And she was like, oh, I used to sing this and play this while you were in my tummy. And so it was like, oh, cool. I get to, sing it and record it and release it. So, yeah.
You put out another fun one that I always talk about because I bring it up beside Getaway. And of course, like I said, cool with that is one that I enjoyed when you put it out. I think before we met, back before, I guess, 19 when I began the show, but Blame the Whiskey. Tell the folks, kind of remind folks about just how much fun that was, and just one that definitely, if you're driving in your truck or your car or whatever vehicle you have, it's just fun to turn on and play.
Yeah, that I still, that's one of my most requested songs actually till this day. It actually began as a college songwriting project. Our teacher was trying to get us to, write a song about an object. And I was like, I'm going to write a song about a bottle of whiskey. And he was like, that is so country. And I was like, well, there you go. So I ended up writing the song as a project, but then it was super weird because then I was kind of dating this guy and it kind of came true. So I was like, okay, I need to write a song about like winning $1 million because then that would be, but either way, it was, it's till this day still one of my most requested songs, I think.
I can see why, no doubt. It's one of those, it's got a good feel to it. If you're going to blame anything, blame the whiskey, no doubt. And of course, I'll say that because we're sponsored by a whiskey company and Bangtail Whiskey out of Orlando, Florida. 90 proof, handcrafted out of there too. Check it out. We'll have a word from them in just a little bit. And of course, check that out there, easyliquor.com, and our good friends at MitchMacs.com. And of course, Hank Jr. Productions. Well, I know a lot of cool things coming your way for the rest of 22. You mentioned the single releases and can't wait for that too. And of course, just a whole bunch of things. They're definitely destined for more and more success. I've seen that and I've grown with you, and just definitely appreciate you always making time for us here on the program, no doubt. We'll get in one final time out here for the sponsors, and of course, come back here as we're live on the YouTube channel, the Backstage Pass, and of course, the website, the sportsguyspodcast.com, live there, and definitely good audience today. So we'll try to get to a few of the comments. We'll get one final time out in for our sponsors, a few more comments, and I'm always going to do rapid fire. Alexis loves to play that, so we'll do that here on the program. Hang tight, more to come. Stay tuned.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back again on the show, the YouTube channel, the Backstage Pass live there, and of course, live on the website via YouTube as well, the sportsguyspodcast.com. And of course, go there, check them out. If you missed some of the interviews that we've done over the past 3 years, they're all archived right there, both video and audio. The power of technology is in your hands to go click and download whatever is in your listening pleasure. And of course, again, my condolences go out as I continue to speak on this for the families. We lost 2 great country music icons over the past week or so. One I had a chance to interview here on the show, that being Mickey Gilley, and of course Naomi Judd. We all heard about that, and we're just devastated by the news. And again, just continue to grieve and mourn, and prayers sent to the families of two of the biggest icons in country music. So let me ask you right there before I get into rapid fire, a very sentimental moment here on the show. Barely can contain and catch my breath, but man, just to lose, 2 powerful figures such as those names. When you first heard about that, what was your first reaction?
Well, I was actually, when I heard about Naomi Judd, I was at a show and this woman walked up to me and she was like, "Hey, can you play some Judds?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And she was like, "Yeah, in memory of Naomi." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "Yeah, they just posted it all over social media. Like, did you know?" And I was like, "Well, up on stage, like, no." But yeah, I ended up singing one of the Judd songs, and later on, of course, seeing it all over social media, and just I grew up listening to them a lot, and I just feel so hurt for their family going through that. She was not near old enough to pass away. So,
No,
yeah.
definitely, I've had people reach out to me today, and of course, I reached back at them because of the Nashville family that I'm totally involved with now and a part of that community, no doubt, as a media member, and of course, the shows and things. We've gotten to interview some of the best artists, brightest artists in the industry, yourself included, no doubt. But losing 2 icons of that magnitude it will never be forgotten. Memories will live on forever, and contributions to country music will live on forever as legends in Naomi Judd and, of course, the late great Mickey Gilley, who lost his life at the age of 86 this past weekend on Saturday. So I guess we got to kind of move on, and you guys will continue playing those songs and memories and tributes of 2 of the greatest artists of all time. Of course, if you missed the interview I did with Mickey Gilley, I can go back and listen to a piece of it today, and it made me just laugh and realize how fortunate I am to do what I do in this product on an everyday basis, no doubt about it. So Mickey is out there for your listening pleasure, and if you want a good laugh and to remember him, check out my show I did with the late great Mickey Gilley out there. We just did about 1.5 years ago too. So in his 80s and still touring, no doubt. And now he's up there singing in front of the angels in heaven, no doubt. And I'm sure Naomi's putting on a great concert up there too. Hey, let's get into some rapid fire. I love doing this with you. And of course, Terry, she is so fashionable. And I'm going to mention this too, because it is the hats. It's the hats, man. It's like that's what she does. It's always a good thing. I like this Dean was saying here too. That's the truth. Yeah. About 60% Dean is whiskey every time. So we're going to blame the whiskey, no doubt about it. All right. First one up here. Best, I guess, in your mind, best vehicle you've ever owned, or was there a kind of a dream vehicle that you're saying, I may have test driven it on a lot, knowing I couldn't buy it when I stepped on the lot, but I enjoyed the vehicle enough to test drive it, or I just bought it outright. I got what I wanted. What would that be?
I have a little bit of a problem. I like luxury cars. So one time I obviously could not afford it, but I test drove a Z4 BMW and it was beautiful. Like, I was downtown Toronto, and the guy, the car dealer guy, was like, "Okay, like, have you ever driven one of these before?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "All right, well, here are the keys." And like, he very hesitantly passed them over, and I was like, "Perfect." And so we like went on a test drive, and it was so much fun and such a nice drive. But one day, maybe. Not very practical when you have a lot of like guitars and equipment you have to carry with you.
You know where the money's going, and it's not to your dream car, no doubt. All right, let's do this one. Favorite foods. I know we've talked about this on the show many times, but is there anything new you're getting into now that's kind of a craving?
I actually have started cooking curry, which I only really tried for the first time this past summer. So sushi is like obviously my all-time favorite, but yeah, I really like curry over rice, and let's see what else. I mean, chocolate is also not really a food group, but also my favorite. So, also, I'm allergic. I found that out. So
Uh-oh.
that's unfortunate, but still my favorite.
Still your favorites there. All right. And this is always a fun one. I love doing it. Speaking of chocolate, it may be generic, it may not. Favorite flavor of ice cream. What's the last ice cream that I guess wasn't chocolate that you got into?
It was actually, I love cookie dough, like the
Okay.
chunks of cookie dough,
Mm-hmm.
or orange sherbet. Just depends what
Ooh,
mood I'm in.
man, you make me want to go get some of that right now. Orange
Same.
sherbet, especially on a hot day with 90+ degrees here in Texas. As we're getting a heat wave this week for the
Oh,
first time.
wow.
Yeah, you think it was saved to the summertime of June and July and August, but that's not the case. I'm already ready for October here in Texas. You know, it gets triple digits here with the heat
I
index.
bet.
Hot. It's hot down here. All right, dream destination vacation, either to perform a show. You've done some international tours, or here in the States, you're like, man, I want to just go there to perform or for leisure.
I've always thought it would be cool to play at the Key West Songwriters Festival, which
Mhm.
I know is probably wrapping up right about now. But
Mhm.
I think like dream vacation would be Turks and Caicos, and I don't necessarily even have to play there. I will just go there. But then probably another place that I would love to play would be Texas. I haven't
Oh,
actually played a show in Texas yet, so that's also on my bucket list.
we got to talk afterwards, no doubt. I always love
Mhm.
to say those words. We got to talk afterwards too, because I got some information to run by you, no doubt about it too. At the same time, all right, I love doing this one. So let's say you hit that jackpot, you win that lottery. What's the first thing you do? Either Powerball or Mega Millions. What would be the first thing you do with the money if you?
Z4,
She's
obviously.
like Z4. There you go. See, I answered. She's like right there. The equipment's all paid off. We're good there. Made some records. Let's just go get that dream
Pretty much. I'm really
dream
simple.
car.
Easy to please.
All right, almost back to food here. Pizza. Is there a certain pizza you like? Thin crust, toppings. What would go on it? What would be your prototypical pizza?
I'm also allergic to pizza because it has gluten and
Glu-
dairy.
Oh my god.
But there's this like Kroger brand that
Hmm.
is gluten free, and it's like, I don't know, it's like pepperoni, but it also has vegetables on it. So that's probably one of my favorites.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I guess to do some pepperoni, and well, of course I need more vegetables. I'm on this carb kick lately, but it's like, man, it's this pasta kick. I was telling somebody earlier today,
Oh,
but I just love spaghetti and love pasta and chicken parm. I don't know why I love chicken parm. It's just, oh, man, just maybe it's the cheese, right? The cheese, which is never a good thing too, as well out there. Well, I tell you what, hey, continued success going forward. You've definitely caught my eye. You've been one of my best friends since we met in 19. Coming on this program, promoting music, which you'll continue to do for as long as I own this thing. I'm never selling it. So I promise people I'm keeping this for a long time. And just thank you for the beautiful music. Long way from home. It tells a sincere story out there, and you guys can definitely resonate with that music. Go get it across all the platforms. More to come, of course. We'll keep you posted. Everything Alexis Taylor and everything out there, AlexisTaylorMusic.com. Thank you always making time for me. We appreciate it so much, and definitely looking forward to connecting again when new projects come out.
yeah. Thank you again so much for making time for me and for having me on, and always being awesome and very encouraging and supporting my music.
Always, we're going to do that. AlexisTaylorMusic.com. And of course, A Long Way From Home, Blame the Whiskey, Cool With That, Getaway. All the songs we talked about today are out there for your listening pleasure. And definitely check out the website, go get some merch. And yeah, I've got to get t-shirts swapped. So next time you see me, I'll have my AT shirt on right here
Let's do it.
on the show. Again, live on the YouTube channel, the Backstage Pass, all our shows you can catch there. And of course, at the sportsguyspodcast.com. I don't know who's coming on tomorrow, but I'm going to find out later on tonight. We'll make a post. My memory's just not there right now. Full week of shows coming up, 4:00 Tuesday through Friday. Some great guests. And of course, some good news coming in as we have a former American Idol winner coming on in the next couple of weeks here on the Backstage Pass. So be on the lookout for that. I'm not going to say who because it would ruin the surprise. That's why we keep it a suspense thing here on the show. No doubt about it too. You guys have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Backstage Pass, 4:00 straight up here. Have a great night. And again, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Hope you had a great one. We'll see you soon. Take care.